Are you facing this problem? You know that you have to remember Korean words in order to level up, but they just can't stick into your brain. Hi, I'm Sohee, an experienced online Korean teacher who has taught over 7,000 Korean lessons. And one of the most asked questions by my students is, how do you remember so many Korean words? And to answer that, we just have to know that there are a few reasons to why these students have difficulties in remembering the Korean words. And in this video, I'm going to share with you some of my tips and techniques in how to tackle with those problems. Before we start, like and subscribe so that you don't miss out future videos on learning Korean. There are 2 prerequisites to remembering Korean vocabularies. To maximize results, we have to allocate specific time slots to remember the words. For best results, you need half an hour to 1 hour each day and to revise it just before you sleep. This is to ensure consistent learning without giving too much burden to yourself. Other than learning new vocabularies, we also have to allocate time to revise the previous learned words. As time passes, there will be words that we forget, so naturally we also need to revise them. When setting a plan, we always need to know the time as well as the goal, right? So how many words do we actually need to study? Knowing that will give you a clear goal to achieve and increase your success rate. If you're a beginner and you're just starting and you want to get to topic level 1, you need around 800 words. These are the basic words like basic verbs, basic nouns, basic adjectives, and so on. For topic level 2, that's going to be around 1,500 to 2,000. And if you want to aim higher, you can set a higher target as around 3,000 words. Beginners at this stage should understand simple sentences to short paragraphs that talks about daily topics. You should aim to read more and listen more to Korean to absorb more Korean words. However, there are also a lot of students who know a lot of Korean words but still can't understand Korean in sentences. In this case, you are going to also remember the sentence patterns instead of only the words. Knowing how the words are going to be used in context is key. If you're interested in putting your Korean learning into a system and organize your notes and vocabulary, do check out our Korean study pack. It's in the description box below. With the study plan, you can plan your time out so that every day you can create word lists for yourself so you know what to learn on the day. We have different templates for you to use. If you really want to remember a word, using it is really important. So other than writing the vocabulary's meaning, you can also write down a sample sentence as well as a sentence that you made on your own. If you're preparing yourself for the topic 1 exam, or if you're a beginner and you don't know what words you should learn, you can join our 7 days topic vocabulary challenge. You can try to challenge yourself by remembering 10 Korean words a day. So in 70 days, you will remember 700 words. I've included basically all the high frequency words in Korean. So you just have to finish that. And remember, we just talked about you only need around 800 words for beginner level. So that's what you need to do for the next step. Now that I've got you covered for the vocabulary, it's time that I give you some tricks to remember your vocabularies. Do you know that there is an order for remembering words? For example, the word people, 사람. First, you will read it aloud. Do not be embarrassed, or if you are a little bit shy, go find a corner. Go find somewhere where there's nobody there, read it aloud. When you see an unfamiliar word, the first thing you have to do is to pronounce it clearly, because by doing that, you're actually kind of remembering it and putting it in your brain. You can use a language app to check your own pronunciation, or you can check if there's any Korean teacher who can help you with that. So if you would like me to help you with your pronunciation, you can always go down to the link below so you can check out my profile and get a Korean trial lesson first. Second step, we are going to look at the structure of the word. In English, we have something like the prefix, for example, bi, like bicycle or bi-weekly, is going to mean something that's related to. Korean words, they also have a structure, and because they are mostly originated from Chinese words, so that's why they do have some roots to the word. If we know their Chinese roots, we will have a much easier time to learn Korean. We call them 한자. Remember the word people, right? Is 사람 in Korean, but for 한자 is actually in. If we know in means people, then we can learn a group of words like 연인, lovers, 죄인, sinners, 범인, criminals, and 시인, poets. We can also use the method for the same word like 연인, lover, right? We know that in is people. So what about 연? 연 actually is related to something romantic. So from that, we can also know that something like 연가 will be like a love song, and 연애 will be a love or romantic relationship. Just imagine how many combinations can you have with just one 한자 that you know. You can basically learn like a group of words. The third step is to create context for your word so that you can really remember it and know in which situations can you use it. This step is also particularly useful for abstract concepts or words that are kind of hard to draw out or hard to remember. For example, the word 투명 인간. 투명 is transparent. 인간 is also in, people. So imagine like a person that's like transparent. It's like nobody actually noticed them. So it's kind of like an outcast or not a very popular person, basically. You can think of different situations in which you can use this word. Maybe it's for a very unpopular classmates in the class, so nobody actually noticed them. Or maybe it can be yourself. Maybe you're very shy, so you kind of want to be like transparent for that period. So yeah, different scenarios that you can think of. Step 4 is to make sentences with your word. In this example, we are going to use the word that we have just learned, 투명 인간. So that's the transparent person. 투명 인간처럼 아무도 나를 보진 않았어. So I'm just like this transparent person. Nobody actually noticed me. The last step, also the fifth step, we are going to do is to check our memory. We are going to first cover up the word and then try to pronounce it correctly. Then we are going to recall its meaning. So that's the step we are going to do to make sure that this is the word that's already in our brain. Bonus tips for learning more Korean words in your daily life. First tip, after building up the basics, you can try to change your phone or computer into the Korean version. This is definitely a way to force yourself remember the word because if not, your phone or your computer will be of no use at all. Tip number 2. You can always put a memo on the objects in your home. So for everything you can think of, you can try to write down the Korean word as well as the English translation on your memo and just stick it on top. This is also another way to force yourself remember this word because, well, you're going to be seeing the memo every day until you remember it. Third tip, plan your study time wisely. For me, I think my prime time for studying is either just after I wake up or just before I sleep. Trust me if I say it's magical to remember your words just before anything that you do. Instead of strolling endlessly across your phone, do it with a purpose, right? You have your word list, just 10 words a day, right? That's going to help you improve so much. Also, human beings have one of the best time just before they sleep. According to research, our brain is going to turn new things into long-term memory during this period. That's why we are going to use this time to focus on remembering our vocabulary. First, because it's going to eliminate all the daytime disturbance. Second, we are also going to make the time during our sleep worth it by remembering our words. Having this kind of habit is going to form a consistent learning schedule, and as our brain adapts to it, we are going to see results. You can choose to study during the day or at night, it doesn't matter, but the main point is just make sure you do it every day or maybe have a regular schedule so that long term you'll really see your vocabulary bank increase. Last tip we have is to remember vocabulary as a combination. So if we are going to remember a noun like computer, we can also combine it with another verb, for example, to buy, 사다. 컴퓨터를 사다. 컴퓨터를 사용하다. To use. 컴퓨터를 켜다. To turn it on. To make your example even fancier, you can consider adding adjectives or adverbs to it. For example, the word 비싸다, that is to be expensive. So you can change it into this sentence. 비싼 컴퓨터를 사다. Sometimes it's hard for you to imagine a sentence, right? So you can always check it up on Naver or maybe other search engines for real-life examples. Remember one of the concerns that my students have? That's knowing the vocabulary but not understanding sentences or forming their own sentence. Knowing how to use them in real life situation is going to help you a lot. So maybe you can read articles or look at like the discussions or maybe even like chat rooms so you can just like kind of communicate with Koreans. Other than reading Korean words from books, knowing how the actual people use it is really going to help you to learn maybe collocations or even like slangs. If you're interested in learning more Korean slangs, this is the video that you can watch next.